What's going on, everybody? Today, I wanted to go over a practical guide to meditation. A lot of people can have trouble with that idea or that term or the how to practically implement, and especially in today's society where we're always bombarded with a lot of information. There's a lot of things going on, and it can be very hard to just what most people consider as meditation, to just sit there and to do nothing. If we do even try to do that, we usually find that there's constantly a flood of thoughts and, to-dos and, should have done this and obligations and responsibilities and just constant things that continue to flow through the eye of our awareness. And so I wanted to give you a more practical approach to what meditation can look like and how you can implement it in your life to gain the benefits of it. Because one of the biggest benefits of having some sort of meditation practice, and it can look like a number of many things as I'll get into, but one of the biggest benefits is you learn how to be an observer of your life and of your thoughts and of your emotions and of what's going on, your circumstances, and you begin to be able to gain some distance so that you're not constantly caught up in what's going on. Instead of being your thoughts and being your emotions and being in your reality, you're able to just be aware of it and have an objective standpoint. An analogy that I often use is like being in a tornado, where your life is all of the things that are constantly swirling around the things that are stressful, your responsibilities, your hopes, your dreams. Those are all swirling around constantly, and in the center there's quiet, there's peace, and you can learn how to be in the center of the tornado of your life and still be able to engage with all the things swirling around, but you're not jumping into them and getting swept up by them and getting caught away with all of those. You're coming from a place of groundedness and centeredness, and you're able to see what's going on so that you can make a decision on what you choose to engage with versus life just making that decision for you, and you find yourself just being swept away with whatever current situation that you're in, and not just physically but also emotionally as well. So one of the ways that I've found to be helpful when it comes to approaching meditation is, first and foremost, just getting clear on what you find to be your own tendencies. Are you more of a person that feels like they really need to be doing something in order to gain a benefit of something? And if that's so, then finding some kind of moving meditation, some kind of active meditation, can be a good place to start. And there's a lot of different forms. I like doing a form of Tai Chi that I learned from studying Paul Chek. There's different kinds of movements that you can do that can act as active meditations. If you study Osho, he has his own version of active meditations that I've tried in the past. There's a lot of different options out there. Yoga is another option. So if you find that you need to still feel like you're doing something because sitting alone with yourself just feels too daunting, then find something active that you can do that still gets you to be in that space of growing your awareness. And if you're someone that prefers to, be in a restful position and just kind of power down, like I kind of go through phases where sometimes I like to do active meditation, but sometimes my life is very active, and so I like to do a very still, seated meditation. But regardless of which way you choose, the point of meditation isn't just to stop your thoughts. People think that meditation, the goal of it is to try to completely stop thinking. And we often find that that's nearly impossible to do, because when you're working with the mind, the nature of the mind is to think. So you're not going to stop something inherent in nature that allows it to maintain its sustainability. The mind is going to think. But the goal is to become a watcher, to become a witness, to become an unattached observer, like a watcher on the hill or a lifeguard in the tower, to really start to use that power of awareness that you have to see your thoughts and to see what's going on in your life, to be able to point that back at itself and ask yourself, what's the question? What is being aware of that? So you can see what you're aware of, but then point that same awareness back to what is the awareness itself. And if you can just simply focus on that, and this is something you don't even really need to do a traditional type of meditation to do. You can do this in your everyday life of just reminding yourself whenever you find yourself in any kind of situation where you feel stress is coming up, or you feel yourself getting thrown into an emotional reaction over something, or getting triggered by something, you can begin to just insert that question. Instead of allowing yourself to get thrown in the tornado, ask, what is being aware of this? And what you'll find is that if you continue to go down that path and you continue to ask that question, you'll actually come to find that that part of you that is just awareness, that is just aware of what's going on, that witness, that observer, cannot be disturbed. And the more you recognize that, the more you can identify with that part of yourself, because ultimately that helps you move more into your truer self, because there's a part of you that isn't a part of this experience of being human. There's a part of you that if you go into yourself deep enough, that doesn't die when this physical body dies. And again, this isn't something to just take my word for it. This is, as you practice this, something that you start to have an experiential awareness of. But again, from a practicality standpoint, it's just learning to ask yourself that question. What is being aware of my experience right now? And another tool that I've learned that's also been helpful is reminding yourself that you have the potential to be unconditionally happy. And it's the same principle. If you can make a choice to be unconditionally happy, and you realize that that is a possibility, because your ability to be happy doesn't have to be predicated by any kind of circumstances that you find yourself in. Because again, the more you identify with that observer, with that awareness, the more you remain in your center, the more you create this space where you can move from just reacting to life, because there's an immediate trigger and there's an immediate reaction to whatever you're presented with, to gaining more responsibility in life, meaning that you're able to respond and you get to choose your response. But that can only happen when you've developed that gap between the stimulus and between how you're choosing to respond. And again, the more you do that, the more you realize that how you respond to everything is a choice that you have. But it all comes from being able to have that gap. So remind yourself, ask yourself, what is being aware right now? What is the awareness that isn't caught up in the daily drama of my life? Not to say that you're trying to escape the daily drama of your life, but that you can engage it from a place of responsibility instead of reaction. So I hope you found this helpful, gave you some of the tips that I found useful in my life, because there can be a lot of information about this topic and a lot of it can get confusing and frankly misleading to what the actual point of it is. So if you found this valuable, leave us a like, share with as many people as possible, help us continue to grow this channel and share this information, because it is valuable, I believe, for people to get this information. And subscribe, and I will talk to you next time.